Wow, all of this today is managing to get another video out of me. Okay, so yeah, the drinker was talking about villains and how those are shaping up and how they're kind of like sad sack in comparison to what we used to have. Um, there's a reason why in Uplift Protocol, Thomas will usually be with his wife most times when she's going into a dangerous situation. She has her skills, he has his, but um, yeah, I haven't gotten into it yet, but eventually you'll get to see just how devastating uh, Eliza's birth was with her twin brother, and the reason why basically Area 51 was on a certain kind of lockdown for a while. This is how I kind of want to tell the story, where you get bits and pieces of the overall world building here and there, but I'm not trying to flood everybody all at once with it. But yeah, to get back to the main point, the heroes actively protect each other. They don't underestimate their villains, which I see that happens a lot of in the whole strong female women's protagonist, where boy, yeah, but to get away from that a little bit, yeah, the villains I built up, they do have a genuine physical threat. That's the reason why there's a curfew on Earth. A lot of cities bundle in for the night because of the periodic attacks by the Livingstone trying to basically kind of like the whole idea of like a soul stealer kind of myth. Well, there's certain aspects that are true of that, so you'll see more as I keep going and going. But the reason why I don't put the villains on screen so much is because there's an aspect that I want to keep them a little bit more mysterious than other characters. It's that kind of like with Babylon 5, where you don't have to explain everything about the antagonist. Like even with the Drock, do we know everything about them? No. That way, in case you want to pull some aspect out to where it's like, okay, the conflict has to go in another direction now. It gives me an option to keep the villains a little bit more malleable in terms of, okay, I need them to instigate this. How would this logically make sense within whatever I've set up in the universe? So, yeah, sometimes you don't have to explain all the cosmic horrors like the Unity. It's just it's a force of nature in and of itself, a very simple, kind of like the nothing eating everything in Never-Ending Story, that sort of thing. Um, Villains can be simple and one-dimensional. Most of my villains in Uplift Protocol are that. I don't mind that at all, because a lot of them are a very corrupted form of whatever virtues that the heroes have. Like Chronos wants to win at all costs. He doesn't care how many people he steps on or steps through or mutilates in the process in the name of science, mastering unity and seeing what else is out there. The corrupted Latari Dreamweaver Pandora, similar idea, but it's like what would happen if you took somebody that should have good mothering instincts, and that's turned in on itself. The all mother, she's kind of like a amalgamation of like Granny Goodness from DC Comics universe mixed in with a few other things, where she uses various very underhanded things to get what she wants. She's basically House of Rodden's assassin. And she also trains certain kinds of other assassins to do other things and other infiltration stuff. But yeah, I don't have them center stage, because that way, some of their stuff is is shrouded in a bit of secrecy, cloak and dagger stuff, because they don't want to go out in the open and move things about where the heroes could find them easily. They rather turn the heroes in on themselves if they can. Kind of like how the villains will fight other villains. They're all against each other in some way, but where the heroes will come together and try to push out the corruption, the villains will just keep spiraling downward and downward and downward. It's just a different take on different things. But yeah, I get what they're saying. Like usually the one-dimensional heroes that you see in like all the woke stuff, or the one-dimensional villains, both in fact, they're very much one-hit wonders. But there's not too much to them other than they're not really servicing a story or servicing their own motivations or servicing a conflict. They're servicing a soapbox. So that's the reason why those types of villains are not as engaging, and why their heroes aren't as engaging either. They're just there to do writers' talking points about whatever kind of agenda they got. So yeah, that's how that works. It's like goody, oh goody. Um, but yeah, the thing is, yeah, you got to make sure, like what Buddy was saying, you have to make them more than just there for a foil for. You can't make a foil for hero. I usually like doing a compare and contrast too, like for the hero. So that way you showcase the virtues of the hero. The actual virtues, not like soapboxing of the hero. And the same goes for the villain. Like, yeah, I don't need a complex villain. I really don't. They can have very simple motivations as long as it's some sort of drive for something. Now, some of the villains will have more of a pack mentality, and like Ishtar doesn't do much on his own. He is the head researcher for Chronos, making all sorts of messed up Unity hybrid influenced crap from everything. That's just how it go. You don't have to have all these villains stand on their own 2 feet in terms of like overall hierarchy. It's just up to you as a writer. Again, all I can really say is look at shows and books and everything else that you've enjoyed that have engaged you, and then put that into your writing. But put it in your own way rather than just, like, oh, I'm going to do this because they say X, Y, or Z. Like, no, figure out what you want to do and just implement it. It might take a while to figure out how to implement it just because everybody goes at their own pace. But personally, yeah, I look at Babylon 5's villains, and a lot of them, even Bester, they instigated stuff from the background. They didn't do a complete open warfare. Again, the Shadows and the Vorlons were like that too. They moved through proxy through the younger races to try to get them to fight each other, because these older races had like, oh, this is the one true way. It's either our way or the highway. You don't get to choose, which is why the uplifted humans later on have those 4 questions. Who are you? What do you want? Where are you going? Do you have anything worth living for? Like, they add in more questions so that way the next races that come after them will have a better understanding of like, yeah, what do they want and what do they care about? What are they going for? It's not just one way or the highway, which a lot of villains, yeah, it's like their way or the highway, and the pebbles do not get to vote, that sort of thing. So, but yeah, but I don't even mind if a villain is a one-dimensional foil to the hero. It's just that both factions have to have their kind of drive. Like, what are they there for? Which, even though heroes have to react to what villains are doing, the villains also have to react to what the heroes are doing. So it's like a seesaw. They have to go back and forth and keep each other kind of going, and have the engagement and the conflict going by the choices that both sides make. Again, like a lot of this stuff I will showcase later in Uplift Protocol. You'll get more and more of the backstory. It's just I don't want to hit everybody all at once, otherwise it'll become like this big rambling 60-page backstory info dump, and I don't want to do that to people because I don't like doing that to myself when I'm reading things. So there you have it. One Florida Women's little commentary today on some more writing stuff. Have a good day, everybody.